Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is expected to visit Siachen tomorrow. It will be his first visit to a defence base outside of the national capital after taking charge of his new portfolio. The Army Chief General Bipin Rawat will be accompanying the minister. Siachen Glacier is regarded as the world's highest battlefield. All right, now the Wuhan spirit is said to be alive and kicking, or at least that is what the Chinese seem to be indicating at a time when they are under pressure from the United States in this bitter trade war that they've got embroiled in. Now, this morning, China's defense minister gave a speech to the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore. In it, he spoke about regional and global challenges, and he also dealt at some length on China's bilateral ties with India as well. Now, the Minister General Wang Fei said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping have reached an important consensus and that the bilateral ties are actually getting better. Now, speaking about the India-China equation, the Chinese general said that the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Chinese President Xi Jinping are working towards a consensus and that the relationship between both countries is actually getting better in the recent few weeks and months. He also noted that there were some differences between the two countries in the past, but that does not necessarily impede the overall cooperation between them. Now, the minister has also added that the Chinese side is in fact ready to work with India. Listen in to what the Chinese minister had to say.
We have seen sort of differences in the relationship as well, but the differences cannot be compared to the overall sound cooperation. The Chinese side is ready to work together with India to properly handle the boundary question. And at the moment, the management of the boundary question is sound. The two sides has had close communication with each other and the border area is generally stable. The common interests of China and India far outweigh our differences. A sound China-India relationship not only serves the interests of both peoples, it is also conducive to stability of the whole world.
Remember, Modi and Xi Jinping had in fact met at Wuhan last year to reset ties between the two countries. It was the first informal summit of its kind where the two leaders met without any agenda. Now, the two leaders are also expected to meet for a second similar such informal summit later this year, and this time round the venue is expected to be somewhere in India. We earlier spoke with Atul Aneja, who's an Indian journalist who writes for the Hindu newspaper from Beijing, who said that the India-China relationship has seen a significant boost recently, especially after China lifted restrictions to designate Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar as a global terrorist. Listen in.
There is a positive momentum in India-China ties. It happens, a major fillip to that, I think, took place when China agreed to designate Masood Azhar as an international terrorist. Thereafter, the visit of the Foreign Secretary, Mr. Vijay Gokhale, to China, or around that time of the designation, well, that visit was very significant because that laid the groundwork for planning on the meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi at the next as a sequel to the Wuhan summit which took place. Of course, the election results had not come out, but there was wide anticipation that the BJP would win and Mr. Modi would once again become Prime Minister. So that momentum is going on. That has taken a way forward, and I think we are likely to have a meeting in autumn, if not earlier, between the two leaders. So there is a positive momentum. There's a larger context to that, and which you mentioned, where the U.S. factor does come into play. China is presently facing a strategy of containment from the U.S. This has become very, very significant and very apparent from the trade war which is taking place. So that's not just a trade war, it's a multi-spectrum sort of strategy to contain China. It has also acquired tensions on the military front.